Some crops cost you more to grow than it does just to buy them at the grocery store. And we did a whole video on the top 3 crops that are a complete waste of time to grow if you're looking to save money in the garden. But Geek Crew, you asked for today's video, and that is the crops that actually will make a difference for your bank account, for your health, and your sanity. Because these aren't hard to grow, but their return on investment, ROI, if you will, is A++. So let's get into it. Okay, so number 1 is leafy greens. Now, hear me out here. You're probably thinking these aren't expensive, but if you're a big salad eater, or you're just simply looking to eat healthier by maybe putting frozen ice cubes of spinach in, trust me, try it, particularly with spaghettis and stir fries. It's awesome. Then this is definitely a route you want to go. So Journal of Horticulture Science actually did look at the cost of leafy greens at the grocery store versus how much it costs to grow at home. And because of their quick turnaround time, their really low demands for light and even nutrients, they found that the return on investment is 4 times that of something that you would get at the grocery store. The seed packets that have any of these leafy greens in them are usually packed with seeds. Not to mention, you can save your own seeds very easily from these crops. They're easy to grow. You can put them in containers. You can put them in ground. You can put them in raised beds. Okay, this one has to be top dollar per gram measurement, and that is herbs. And we're talking all herbs. Now, of course, there's a range depending on the herb that you want to go with, but that range is huge, $25 to $40 per kilogram. This isn't including the really crazy ones like saffron in that. This is just like your basic ones by kilogram. Not to mention that the essential oils or the benefits or the aromas that we buy herbs for peak in areas that have moderate water stress. Meaning, if you have a tiny little herb garden that you're constantly watching, making sure it's watered, etc., and so forth, you are going to have more flavorful herbs than if you were to buy them from the grocery store. Okay, next up is actually garlic. Now, from the store, you can get a clove for around $1. But if you grow that clove from home, it is only 10 cents on average. Now, here's the other really fun tip is that if you save your biggest cloves from this year's harvest, which I did a whole video on garlic cloves and which ones to choose, if you save your biggest and your baddest and your best, and grow them this year or plant them right now, then next year you're going to have a harvest that is 25 to 30% more than it was last year. And that is also proven with scientific journals and looking at exactly what the best bulb size is, if you will. So if you want to learn more on that, go check out my video on garlic. But 10 cents versus $1, it's a lot of garlic. You either love it or you hate it. And if you love it, it's great to grow. Okay, so the next one is very dependent. That is peppers and tomatoes. Now, this is what I would consider a moderate return on investment. If you have a long enough growing season, if you have the correct lighting conditions, the payoff can be there. The season has to be perfect. This is one crop that one year makes no sense to grow, and then next year it makes all the sense to grow. And you cannot predict what year that would be because that would be like being the weatherman. And that is one job that you can do, be wrong all the time and never get fired. So I did find this one interesting. I stumbled across it and I'm kind of thinking a little bit more about the whole world of mycorrhizal fungi. I wasn't too convinced of it. I'm not sure I'm fully convinced of it yet. But there was one study, just one, which means absolutely nothing because it's not a meta-analysis. It's not been repeated a million times. But there's one study, 2022, University of Guelph, that showed that mycorrhizal fungi applied to tomatoes and peppers, in particular, Glomus interdices, which is like your generic version of mycorrhizal fungi, actually did increase the yields by around 20%. So fun fact. The next one is one single root crop, and that is beets. So beets are one crop that I personally find aren't great from the grocery store because they get mushy so quickly. I also don't find the flavor of like the canned ones to be particularly good, and they're incredibly cheap to grow from home. Not to mention, you can utilize the greens as well as the beets themselves. So it's like a 2-for-1 when it comes to growing it in your garden. Now, of course, beets are cheap from the grocery store. So if you're not a big lettuce or leafy green eater, then maybe it doesn't make sense to you because it's no longer a 2-for-1 in that case. But it's definitely going to get an honorable mention here. Okay, so this one, anyone who's done this knows it is a high risk, high investment in the beginning, but the return on investment is huge. The USDA actually looked per square foot of established berry crop area, yielded anywhere from $6 to $15 worth of fruit. and that's American. So it's quite a bit of fruit per square foot. The reason why I say it's such a high investment in the beginning is because you're going to go 2 to 3 years with absolutely zero harvest or very small harvests until that crop is fully established. So if you intend to stay in an area for an extended period of time, that's your forever home. Investing in berry bushes or plants is going to be up your alley because the return on investment is huge. You can obviously fresh eat them, but they freeze, you can make jams. The possibilities are endless, not to mention I do find the flavor is better when you grow them from home. But like I said, it's a bit of an investment up front. But before you go and start adding these to your list for next year to help invest in the garden and make it more worth your time.
So of course I forget a big one, and that is squash. All squash, butternut, acorn, spaghetti squash. If you're a squash eater, you know how expensive squash is to make your soups, all that sort of stuff. It's definitely worth growing. It can produce a ton of vegetable with only a couple plants. So definitely one you want to think about. And if you haven't tried squash, you're not sure about squash, give it a shot. I think you'd be kind of shocked at how good it is. Start with butternut and then work your way up.
Geek Crew, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.